finding acres of diamonds, whose message is as relevant today as it was when he traveled the nation sharing it. I myself first heard the story from the late Earl Nightingale, one of my primary mentors. The story opens when Conwell found himself on the Tigris River with a party of English travelers. The year was 1870. The group's guide was an elderly Arab who had been hired to show them the ancient cities of Assyria. Much more than a guide, however, the old Arab was a consummate storyteller who seemed compelled to weave a tale at every bend of the trail. "And now I will tell you a story I reserve for my particular friends," he said one evening, introducing the Acres of Diamonds story that Russell Conwell shared with hundreds of thousands of listeners. It's one of the most famous of all the classic motivational stories that have been retold through the ages. Not far from the river Indus, there once lived a Persian farmer by the name of Ali Hafed, who owned a large farm with orchards, grain fields, and gardens. He was a wealthy, contented man, contented because he was wealthy, and wealthy because he was contented. One day he was visited by an ancient priest, a wise man from the east. The priest sat by the fire and told Ali Hafed how our world was made. He said the Almighty thrust a finger into the fog and slowly turned it round and round, increasing the speed until it gradually became a ball of fire. And then he said, the ball of fire rolled through the universe, burning its way through other cosmic banks of fog and condensing the moisture until it fell in floods of rain upon its surface, which cooled the outer crust. When the melted mass burst out and very quickly cooled, it became granite. That which cooled less quickly became silver, and even less quickly, gold. "And diamonds," said the ancient priest, "diamonds are congealed drops of sunlight." Declaring diamonds the highest of God's mineral creations, the priest said that one stone the size of Ali Hafed's thumb could purchase the whole country. If Ali Hafed had a mine of diamonds, he could place his children on the thrones of countries throughout the world. Well, Ali Hafed went to bed that night a poor man. Poor because he was discontented, and discontented because he thought he was poor. "I want a diamond mine," he repeated to himself throughout his sleepless night. He woke the priest early the next morning. "Will you tell me where I can find diamonds?" he asked. "Diamonds," said the priest. "What do you want with diamonds?" "I want to be immensely rich," replied Ali Hafed candidly. "Then go along and find them. That's all you must do," advised the priest. "But I don't know where to go," Ali Hafed pleaded. "Well," said the priest, "if you look for a river that runs over white sands between high mountains, you will always find diamonds in those sands." "I don't believe any such river exists," Ali Hafed challenged. "Of course it does. There are many of them," said the priest. "All you have to do is find them." Ali Hafed went to the window and looked out, his gaze fixed on the mountains that bordered his farm. "I believe you. I will go," he resolved. He sold his farm and collected his money. Leaving his family in a neighbor's care, he went off in search of diamonds, starting with the nearest mountains. Next, he searched in Palestine. Finally, he wandered Europe. When the last of his money had been spent, he stood in rags at Spain's Bay of Barcelona, watching the waves roll in. And soon the penniless, hopelessly wretched man cast himself into the oncoming tide and sank beneath the water, never to rise again. One day, continued the old Arab guide, the man who had purchased Ali Hafed's farm let his camel into the garden for a drink. As the beast lapped the brook's clear water, Ali Hafed's successor noticed a curious flash in the shallow stream's white sands. Reaching into the water, he withdrew a black